If you still want someone who hurt you, someone who lied to you, ignored you, or made you feel like you were never enough, then you've probably asked yourself this question more than once. Why him? Why do I still think about him? Why do I still miss him? Why does a part of me still want him back, even after everything? And the worst part is, you know what he did. You remember the silence. You remember the way he made you question yourself. You remember how small you felt. So why is it so hard to let go? Why does it feel like your mind knows the truth, but your heart refuses to accept it? Because this is the part no one really explains to you. It's not just about him. And it never really was. Because if this was only about logic, you would have walked away already. You're not naive. You're not blind. You saw the signs. You felt something was off, but you stayed. And now a part of you is still there, even if he's already gone. And that's what confuses you the most, because it doesn't make sense. How can you still want someone who clearly didn't treat you the way you deserved? How can you miss someone who made you feel anxious, insecure, and constantly unsure? And here's where things start to shift. You're not missing him. You're missing how you felt when things were good. Because there were moments, weren't there? Moments where he made you feel chosen. Moments where he made you feel special. Moments where you thought, this is it. And your mind held on to that. Not the pain, not the confusion, but the feeling. And now, without even realizing it, you're chasing that feeling. Not the reality of who he is, but the memory of who you thought he could be. And that's why it feels so hard to let go. Because your brain doesn't process it as, this person hurt me. It processes it as, I lost something that made me feel good. And losing that feeling feels like losing a part of yourself. That's why you go back in your mind, replaying conversations, replaying moments, trying to find where it changed, trying to understand what went wrong. Because if you can't understand it, maybe you can fix it. And if you can fix it, maybe you can get that feeling back. But here's the part that hurts. What you're trying to fix was never fully real. And deep down, you already know that. You felt the inconsistency. You felt the distance. You noticed how things didn't add up. But you stayed anyway. And not because you're weak, but because something in you learned to hold on, learned to wait, learned to believe that if you just tried a little harder, loved a little more, understood a little better, things would finally become what they were supposed to be. But they didn't. And now you're left with something even harder. Not just the pain of what happened, but the confusion of why you still care. And that's where most people get stuck. Because they think, if I still want him, maybe it means something. Maybe it means there's still something there. Maybe it means it wasn't that bad. Maybe it means it can still work. But what if it means something completely different? What if the reason you still want him has nothing to do with him at all? What if the reason you still want him has nothing to do with him at all? What if it has everything to do with something inside you that was activated the moment he came into your life? Because when someone makes you feel seen, even for a short moment, your mind doesn't just register the person, it registers the feeling. And if that feeling was something you were missing, something you didn't fully have before, then it doesn't just become a memory. It becomes something you crave, not consciously, but emotionally. That's why letting go feels so much harder than it should be. Because you're not just letting go of a person, you're letting go of a version of yourself that only existed when you were with them. The version of you that felt wanted, the version of you that felt chosen, the version of you that believed, this time it's real. And when that disappears, it creates a gap, a silence, a question that keeps repeating in your mind. Was it me? Did I do something wrong? Could I have done more? And slowly, without even noticing, you start turning the pain inward. Not because it's true, but because it feels easier than accepting something else. Because this alternative is this. They weren't who you thought they were. And that's harder to accept than blaming yourself. Because if it was you, then at least there's something you can fix. But if it was them, then there's nothing to fix. Only something to let go of. And letting go means accepting that the story you believed in was never going to end the way you hoped. And that's where most people hesitate. Because letting go isn't just about losing someone. It's about letting go of the meaning you gave them, the future you imagined, the version of them you held onto, the idea that maybe one day it would all make sense. And so you stay emotionally connected, not to who they are, but to what they represented. And that's why you still think about them. That's why a part of you still wants them. That's why, even after everything, you still ask yourself, why him? But maybe the real question isn't, why him? Maybe the real question is, why did I accept so little when I needed so much? Because if you look back honestly, you'll start to see things differently. You'll remember the moments you felt unsure, but ignored it. The times you felt something was off, but stayed quiet. The times you adjusted yourself just to keep things from falling apart. And that's not love, that's survival. That's you trying to hold on to something that was already slipping away. And once you see that, everything begins to change. Because now it's no longer about him. It's about you, not in a blaming way, but in an awakening way. Because now you start to realize you weren't holding on to him. You were holding onto the hope that this time it would finally be different. But hope without consistency turns into confusion. And confusion keeps you stuck between what you felt and what actually happened. Stuck between what you wanted and what was real. And that's why you couldn't let go. Not because he was irreplaceable, but because the emotional experience felt intense. And intensity can feel like connection, even when it's not, even when it hurts, even when it leaves you questioning yourself. And once you understand that, you stop romanticizing the pain. You stop replaying the good moments as if they were the whole story. You start seeing the pattern, the inconsistency, the emotional highs and lows, the way you were constantly trying to feel secure, but never fully did. And that's when clarity comes in, not all at once, but slowly, quietly. You begin to see that what you felt was real, but what you believed about him wasn't. And that changes everything. Because now instead of asking, why do I still want him? You start asking, why did I feel like I had to earn love? Why did I stay when I knew something was wrong? Why did I ignore myself to keep someone else? And those questions are the ones that actually set you free. Because they bring you back to yourself. Not to the past, not to him, but to you. To the part of you that saw the truth early, but wasn't ready to act on it yet. And that's okay, because now you see it, now you feel it, now you understand it. And that's where everything begins to shift. Because once you truly understand why you stayed, You no longer feel the need to go back. Not because you stopped caring overnight, but because you started seeing clearly. And clarity breaks attachment. So if you're still thinking about him, if a part of you still misses him, if sometimes you still feel that pull, it doesn't mean he's the one. It means there's still a part of you that's healing. And healing doesn't mean going back. It means finally choosing yourself. Even when it feels unfamiliar, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when a part of you still wants what you know you shouldn't have. Because that's the difference now. Before, you felt it but ignored it. Now, you feel it and understand it. And that's what changes everything. Not him, you, and maybe that's the part no one tells you. Healing doesn't always feel like peace. Sometimes it feels like withdrawal, like missing someone you know you shouldn't miss, like wanting something you know wasn't good for you. And in those moments, it's easy to confuse attachment with love. It's easy to think, if I still feel this, it must mean something. But it does. Just not what you think. It means as you're detaching from something that once felt important. It means as you're breaking a pattern your mind got used to. And that takes time. So if today you still feel it, don't judge yourself. Don't rush yourself. Just don't go back to something that already showed you what it is. Because the moment you truly accept that, you won't need to ask why him anymore.